happy Friday, everyone. We are excited to be here this evening to have this conversation about relationship talks. And we're going to focus on Get Your Ships Together, the conference the ultimate relationship conference that we host in the Tampa Bay area in October. And this year is going to be October the 17th through the 19th. You're going to hear us say that again. I am Dr. Angela Scott, and I'm excited that we have this impromptu podcast that was going to be on YouTube, but guess what? We're here on Facebook.
And I am Eric Scott, one of the creators also for Get Your Ships Together, co-founder of Growing Human Capital with my wife here, and just excited about what we're doing here today to get started with just this path.
You know, I make Mr. Scott smile because when he talks, I look right at him while he's talking. And so we want to have an intentional conversation this evening with one of our closest friends that really just support us in everything that we're doing. If you know the story, how we got here to Facebook tonight, we thank the Pullins for that. So we want to thank Faith and Stan for being with us this evening to have this conversation. So welcome. We're happy to be here. Yes. So listen, for years, Stan has talked to me constantly about doing YouTube, Facebook, going live, doing videos. And just this week, this whole year, we've just been talking about starting this podcast. And so this week I was in conversations with a group of girlfriends, and we were talking about how we're going to go ahead and do the podcast. And I say, actually, I'm scheduled to do a podcast on June 27th. That's today, everyone.
Press and record.
So listen, we just recently heard from a group of podcasters in a challenge that Eric and I and Faith had an opportunity to sit through. They said hit record. So we hit record, everyone.
So one of the things we definitely want to make sure that you understand is that every part of what we do, and just in life, and just I'm not talking about us here, I'm just talking about everybody, it's all about relationships, whether it's faith, family, friends, just every part of what we're doing is a part of relationships. So once again, that's what this is all about, moving forward to have stronger and more relationships.
So to our navigators, just tell us why. You know, we know you love us as the Skies, but just tell us why y'all stick with us, kick it with us, and really support us with this venture that we have launched about 3 years ago. Get Your Ships Together. You rocking.
So you took away our option to say because we love y'all. Because we love y'all.
I had to take it away.
But I would say when you all cast the vision, right? When you shared the vision, it spoke to who the two of you are as a couple. And we got on board with the vision. It wasn't hard. It was like, yeah, that's the vision. And so we see it. We see the future. We see what it is that you all are moving towards. And of course we're going to be there to support. What about you, Mr. Pullen?
You know, I agree with you 100%. You know, one thing I like to say, you know, for me, it's the truth for us. Well, for both of us. Because in this community, healthy relationships build healthy people. And we can all agree that our relationships need to be healthy.
Yes. And we're talking about like unfiltered conversations, right? And being transparent in the conversation. So sometimes, like, I love Roland Martin, as y'all know right now. And when Roland Martin says unfiltered, it might be a cuss word or something that goes in there because you're just speaking. But really, when we talk about unfiltered relationship conversations, how do you all feel when we say unfiltered? Because for me, when I say unfiltered, it really does mean that I can have a conversation, I can show up. I can show up on Facebook and not be judged. Because I said I was going to be on YouTube, but it's unfiltered because I'm just showing up as me. How do you feel about the word unfiltered when you think about relationships?
So that's actually the first thing I think about, other than transparency, me being transparent, but also being able to listen to individuals and not judging what they're saying, not even, giving myself an option of saying, well, I'm putting myself beyond them or behind them in any kind of way. So just not judging myself and not judging them.
And I would say, when you say unfiltered, Angela, the first first word that comes to my mind is authenticity. Because when you're unfiltered, you're just authentic. It is what it is. And the second part of that, this is Faith's personality. If they judge me, I don't care. Because if I'm unfiltered, I can't care what they think about me. I just have to show up as who I am, and whatever they think is whatever they think, but they're gonna get the real, regardless. So yeah. What about you, Mr. P?
It's funny that you say that, right? And when you say unfiltered to me, right, I'm thinking about makeup, for the ladies, the wigs, being natural, being vulnerable, really, you know what I'm saying? Being vulnerable, showing all your blemishes, and showing who you are as a person, because a lot of times we walk around with these masks on. So when we come in and we have these unfiltered conversations, and we're able to expose who we truly are, and without being judged, like Mr. Scott said, you're being vulnerable and everything. So for me, that's what unfiltered means to me.
I do want to ask you a question, Dr. Scott. As far as this conference, I know, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. Will people come? Will this work out? So on and so forth. But let the people know, based on this conference, what is it about this conference and the why behind you feel so strongly about it?
I feel so strong about the conference. This space is, well, let me take us all back. So about a decade ago, we did a conference that dealt with marriage relationships. And that's good. I believe in Black love. I see all the hashtags that, what they say, love goals.
Love goals, couples goals, all the goals.
All the goals, right? So we see all of that. And, but about a decade ago as well, I had a stroke. And in that, it just made me realize that life can be like that. And recently, as we all know in this circle, in the last month, we have had friends who have not waken up, right? And so the conference, and why I put so much effort to it and why I believe in it so much, is that it's a time that we can pause in a year. I mean, it's 366 days in a year. And it's a time where we as professionals can get together, pause, laugh together, party together, but learn together as well. Learn different strategies and techniques and tools on how we can connect to each other. How do we communicate with each other? I promise you, because sometimes, if I'm not talking to my closest friends, longest friends, this couple and our couple friendship group that we have, we learn from each other. So having a space where other people can come into that. But it's not just the couples. We have to learn how to be friends with each other. I have to have healthy relationship with my siblings as well. How did that happen? And so the conference is a space where it's the ultimate place where you can learn how to communicate with anybody, professionally or personally, and make sure that you're connecting with them. So it means a lot to me, so that when I'm no longer here, I know we don't like that topic, or when nobody else is longer here, I can always have those memories. So it's about, the conference is about building memorable moments, so those memories can last for a lifetime. So that's
well
why
said.
it's so important to me.
Well said indeed.
Yes. So for my navigators, you guys we said you've been rocking with us, but you've been rocking with us also as a sponsor. So you have sponsored Get Your Ships Together and have been the navigators, but we also have some additional sponsors that I want to give a shout out to as well. I want to give a shout out to Tamika Neal, Soul First Class. She has rocked with us. If you came to the conference on the last event, if you were VIP, you had gotten a special gift from her. So I just love, make your hair grow, get those edges together and everything. That's a hair oil that we can use that makes us feel natural going out. So I want to give a shout out to Tamika Neal. Thank you so much for endorsing and sponsoring us and being a vendor. So listen, we appreciate you. Yes. And I want to give another shout out to Coach Lynn G Star. Now the two of us in the morning time, we're gonna do something real crazy. We're gonna get up like really early on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m. to go do a workout. But it's one of the things that we believe in is our fitness and our health. That has to be important to take care of, to make sure that you can be around for these great relationships and healthy relationships.
So at this time, I do want to say we do have a question in the audience. It says, why are most afraid to be authentic in relationships? Could it be trauma or harm? It's a deep question.
Oh, I love it. Well, I'm going to start off by saying, by an example. It's hard to be transparent in a relationship because it makes you vulnerable. I had someone who told me when I was in a dating thing that if you never become transparent with someone, you would never fall in love. And I just thought to myself during that time, well, I don't want to be so transparent because I don't want somebody to have enough power over me to harm me, and that comes from the trauma and the tragedies that happened before. So, but you have to get to a space in life where you recognize, and mental health. This year at the conference, we were really trying to focus on having sessions and having conversations about mental health. In our community, we don't really speak a lot about mental health. And so I had to learn what my triggers were that got me to feel like I couldn't trust people. And once I started learning that, I began to be more transparent with people. But at the same time, for me, I categorize people as well. So I know who to share information with, right? So that I don't feel like they're gonna stump on my heart as well. So that's one way I deal with it.
I know Stan had brought up being vulnerable, and I know, and it's not just about marriages and couples. I've had friends in the past where you share things, conversations, and then they share those conversations. And I'm not talking about back in middle school. I'm talking about as you're growing and you're older. So sometimes being vulnerable and somebody breaking that vulnerability or taking that information and sharing or whatever it is, that causes also some of that authenticity when you talk about being authentic in relationships.
So I agree with you 100%. So I think if you think about what Dr. Scott just said about, you put people in categories, so you learn what you can share with certain people to a certain extent. And once you learn your family, because I'm using the word family, friends, family, there are some ones that you have to say, don't tell nobody I said this, right? And listen. So being transparent, I'm that guy. I'm that family member that you gotta let me know. Because I'm excited for you. So I don't look at myself, doing you any harm. But if you feel that you don't really have that much trust, or you want to pour yourself in your issues to me, you entrusted me to keep that personal and everything. So a lot of times we have to learn that, I can't tell Stan this right here, because if I tell Stan this, he will go tell Faith and everybody else. So we have to learn our people. So it's okay to be cautious. That's the word. Be cautious. Be cautious who you speak to about your issues and who you're vulnerable to, and learn the persons or the people that you're in your circle, so you don't feel that you cannot be unfiltered.
Can I weigh in on that? Because I know we're all talking about it, but the question, going back to that question, like what causes people to not be, and I think we're all hitting on it, and Eric and Stan, Angela, you all said something that made me think back to, because you were talking about mental health, and Eric, you're talking about, having shared things, and Stan, maybe somebody might say something. One of the things, so full transparency, the Pullens have gone through counseling, we've gone through individual therapy, we've gone through marital therapy, and one of the things that the therapist, both individual and relationship, shared is that sometimes you're not vulnerable with people that you should be vulnerable with, because you do have trauma that makes you afraid that they're going to hurt you, but maybe they did. Like maybe you were vulnerable with that person and then they use that against you. And so that doesn't mean that you can't get past that. But that sometimes is why people are not vulnerable in relationships. But once you learn it and you know it and you can talk about it, they might not, to your point, they might not have done it intentionally. They might be operating in their own trauma. But you have to be able to face it and to deal with it, but also use wisdom. I like what you said. You can't tell everybody everything. So yeah.
I just love all the gems but as you were talking about that, it also makes me think about when you say y'all was transparent about getting therapy and having marriage counseling. And I think that people, we don't have enough of that conversation. And people think when you go to marriage counseling that it's something that has to be wrong, but it could just be simply learning how to talk to each other. What is like learning each other? I mean, I'm a grown person that came to another grown human being who had two different lifestyles, two different upbringings, and we're merging that together, and we're trying to figure out how to create this legacy and this life together. So it's nothing wrong, I think, with the coaching or with therapy. And so for us, I think having that conversation a little bit more, so like to our Facebook family, it is nothing wrong with having coaching, counseling, or anything to help you build healthy relationships. Because this is not done by ourselves. You know, even when we think biblically, there is no relationship in the Bible that I know of that was just silent.
Right.
So
I agree.
And sometimes it's small investments. You know, we're speaking of small investments. We're talking about get your ships together. Once again, the weekend is October 17th through the 19th. Once again, October 17th through the 19th. To get your tickets, ships with an S, get your ships, P-S, shipstogether.org. Once again, www.getyourshipstogether.org. I just want to ask a navigator something. So once again, this will be the third one. What is something that you're looking forward to when we talk about get your ships together?
So, there are so many things to look forward to. It's an amazing weekend. I would say one of the things I'm so excited about is the blackout party. So, if you've never been, every year there's an annual gala party, get together, and of course you're gonna dance, you're gonna have a good time, you're gonna have an amazing DJ. But more than that, Eric, it's the unity. It's everybody coming together in community, and it really does bring all five of the ships together, right? Faith, family, friendship, finances, and fitness, because we dancing and we squatting and all that stuff. But it's just, it's such an amazing experience. It's more than a party. It's more than having fun. It's everything. So for me, that's like the key, and I'm very much looking forward to the blackout party.
Well stated. And let's not forget Friday night. Basically we have a silent auction, right? That's what we're doing, a silent auction today. It's going to be a powerful event as well. So we're raising funds. In case you don't see, this is the Jackson House, right? So we're doing a silent auction for the Jackson House, which is a historic building here in the Tampa area, which has a lot of implications as far as needing to be restored and everything. So what we're going to do here, we're going to do a silent auction. Make sure that you put in for this auction, because you never know what surprise may be.
I'm excited to share that last year we had an opportunity to connect with a local artist here called her name is Jeanette Bradley, and I'm excited that she's partnered with us again. So Google Jeanette Bradley in the Tampa Bay area. Her artwork is amazing, and so I'm excited that she believes in what we're doing, and she believes in the historic Jackson House and what we're doing to restore that home. So we're just so excited to be partnering with the Jackson House Foundation, and so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, you know, when we talk about the days of the week, of the weekend, Friday, we have tickets. The weekend, we have tickets. The Saturday, blackout party. You know, if you have things going on, but you can come to the blackout party, we have tickets. So it covers everything. First of all, the weekend itself, I've been to multiple conferences, been in education, and it just doesn't matter. It measures above any conference that I've been to, just to be honest. I'm not just saying that because I'm a part of it, but going to these conferences and seeing what is offered here at the Get Your Ships Together, it just blows me away. And it's not so much what we put together, it's the team. It's what people have done coming in, the speakers, and once again, the sponsors, and just different individuals. So, definitely make sure you get those tickets. Once again, Historic Jackson House, we're going to be honoring them with the silent auction on Friday, entrepreneur conversation also, and live music. And there'll be food.
Yeah, and so listen, he's talking about the speakers in the conference that you attend before. We've all gone to conferences or workshops and everything. The reason why we use the word weekend experience, because when you come, we want you to come and have experienced something that just move you and that you have never experienced before. 10x your experience. And so one of our sponsors, endorsers, and speakers is the Wilsons, the marriage mentors. And so when I say when you attend one of the sessions, it's not one of those sessions that you attend where you just sit and you get involved, you get engaged, you have conversations that have aha moments, things that you can take back with you and actually use. We're talking about marriage, but when I tell you, when you attend the Wilsons, Ovette and Dr. Adrian Wilson session, it will be things that you will learn in their sessions that you'll get and to use in your jobs beyond marriage. So you can be single to attend that session. So that's one of my favorite sessions to attend as well, and it's a very popular session that we have as well.
Yes. So I have my cards here. Now it's not many that I'm gonna read, but I'm gonna read this one. This is a question for the creators of Get Your Ships Together. So, what's one shift that you've personally made since launching Get Your Ships Together, and how has it deepened your relationships?
Well, I'm going to start off by saying we shifted and using more technology and on a serious note, but we shift in how we just approach business. So for me personally, I know Mr. Scott get an opportunity to hear me probably say many things that Sunshine will say privately, transparently to him. As far as the way the world has shifted, if you came to the conference last time, you heard me talk about that telephone book. Listen, I don't want to go back to no great old days period. But I do love simplicity in my life as well. And the technology is beautiful. When you first got on here and you heard Faith talk about technology being a beautiful thing, I love it. But at the same time, it's something that is everyday changing, and being in this space as an entrepreneur, trying to push this conference, trying to keep up with what's going on in the world, it has helped me shift to do things that are uncomfortable for me, and I'm doing it. And so how that shift my relationships is that it makes me pay attention a little bit more. I am one to lead with my heart, and it has helped me understand with these fast changes and everything that's going on, to make sure that I slow down, not just to make decisions with my heart, but to try to take my mind and my heart, combine it together to make the best decision, so that that I don't get, what's the word, scam all the time, or taken advantage of business, right? So because I have been taken advantage of in this space. I have gone into relationships and partnerships with individuals who did not hold up to their end, and so it has helped me become a wiser entrepreneur.
Okay.
Honestly, where would I start? Actually thinking and hearing the question, it makes me think about something Michelle Obama was talking about her mom, about the last 3 words, that this life goes by fast. And I know it was more than 3 words, but that's just me summing up, because it does go by fast. There's so many things going on, and you talked about family, faith, fitness, all the S, but there's so many different ships now that's on my mind. and I'm always thinking I don't have enough time to help and support and do, because there's so much out there. So what I've actually learned is how to turn people to other people to get support, to other teams, and there's support out there for everything. Because we have leadership, we have relationships, we have so many different ships, but there's people needing a lot out there. And just being in education and seeing what students and families are going through on different sides of just in Tampa, on different sides of Tampa. On this side they have what they need, but on the other side they don't. So, one of the things about the conference is kind of opened me up to so many different supports that people need, and there's so many ships now that people need. I just make up words now when I'm talking to people at school that, oh, that's a ship. Just put ship on the end of that. So that's what I've, actually kind of over the last couple of years and really these last few months have really, just kind of connected to it. There's so many ships out there and so many supports that people need.
Awesome. Thank you.
So in March we had an opportunity to do Money Ship. And you two were there with us, and we had a whole bunch of, listen, go to the YouTube channel, everyone, on Facebook. You can see some of the highlights from Money Ship. It was an amazing event. It was at Black English Bookstore in Tampa. It was fun.
Rest in peace, Gwen Myers.
Yes.
Not Gwen Myers, Gwen Henderson.
Rest in peace.
But Black English Bookstore,
Yeah, take that moment for silence. It was a blessing to have that event there. We had a keynote speaker for that evening, Natalie Freeman, who just blew us all away.
A lot of nuggets.
To talk about finances. So for the pull-ins, I really do want to ask this question: is how do you keep your money from being a deal breaker in your relationship? How do you handle your finances? Because couples do different things. Some couples keep their money separate. Some couples blend their money together. Some couples give each other allowances. So how do y'all really work with your money? Because talking about money in the Black community is almost like talking about your sex life.
Yes. Dirty word.
Indeed.
You mind if I start this?
Go for it.
Okay. This is a beautiful question, and I'm going to give an unfiltered answer. So, while Mr. P is over here fanning, so Dr. Scott, thank you for asking that question. So the first thing is full transparency. Yes, we do pool our money together for the most part. We also pay ourselves. Like, we do have money that we have for ourselves, right? To make sure that we have that to do some of the things that we want to do. I love a budget. A budget is a great thing to me. And my lovely husband over here is working on loving a budget. But he can talk to y'all about what he thinks about a budget. But he's working on loving a budget. Again, sometimes you get out of sync. Like for Stan and I, we have those people who know us well. Y'all have been through all of it. Talk about friendships and relationships and family and all of that. But we've gone through times of extreme lack, right, because of job loss and things like that, and extreme abundance, from selling property and things of that nature. So we try to make informed decisions with our money, for myself and probably for Stan as well. If mistakes are made or if missteps are made, it takes a lot of patience and forgiveness, and then resetting and refocusing. Because I don't believe anything is ever a failure, or it's just, it's gone. You just start over again. And you might be starting from zero, you might be starting from 50 cents, but you can start anywhere and just move forward. So that's the attitude that I take. And sometimes you have to have hard conversations though. And if you are the one who's done whatever, y'all know I like purses. So if I went and I spent 10 grand on a bag, which I did not, but I'm just saying, I got to take ownership if I did that, and then that's causing problems. And it's hard, but you just got to do it. So that's how I feel about it. So what do you have?
Well,
You done drink all your water.
so just be vulnerable. I wasn't ready for this question. It's very unfiltered. But to be honest with you, to be very transparent, right? So we are a team, right? And sometimes, well, most of the time, you know, I'm the one that has to be brought back into the block because I have a tendency. You know, it's funny. My wife always said, you know, $5 here, $5 there, $5 here. Before you know it, you spend $100. That's very true, by the way. I test the theory. So, you know, you just have to be more mindful and think about, you know, where you're trying to land, you know, and where you trying to, what's your next destination. So, when you have those hard conversations, it's hard to hear because you know the person is right, but you really don't want to hear it. So I mean, this I don't care if it's the husband or wife. If you have a partner that is good with finances, it's okay as a man to take the back seat. You know, because I'd rather be in the back seat than to have no seat. You know, because if you know your weakness, then you know a person that's strong in the area. Let them be that. Not saying that you less of a man. You actually more you stronger, really, because you recognize your weakness and you see their strength. So you let them lead in that way. You know, because that's not giving up your leadership. You just let a person who's a subject matter expert to navigate that ship.
Yeah, that's good.
So, Mr. Scott, we've been together for over 22, 23 years there. Married to, yes. Okay, I do know how long we've been together. But with that, what lesson have you learned what lesson or what advice would you give to someone as a couple dealing with finances? Because once again, we come into a marriage with different thoughts on how we should handle money. So what advice would you give to someone?
You start from the beginning. I mean, you don't wait to start having these conversations. One, your marriage is a business, and it's not so much you want to treat it as a business in the sense of, you know, board of directors and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at it as you are growing together in this relationship, as businesses grow in a relationship with people and employees, so on and so forth, then you can make better decisions. As Stan said, your strengths are your strengths here in this business, and my strengths are my strengths in this side of the business, so on and so forth. But having those conversations early on, and we did, you know, that was one of the fortunate things. We didn't wait years being married. We started having these conversations months in, even before we were married. And that actually brings me to it was an audience question that stated, apologies, because it's connected to your question. What are good communication patterns? Do you have a specific way that you communicate, and did you ever have to change the way communication with others? So one of the things that we actually did early on in our marriage was came up, not necessarily, I want to say rules, but it was, what did we say? No.
They're rules, but they're
Social contract.
Social contract.
Yeah, it's like a contract. So not necessarily rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, but it's almost like how she wants to be treated, how I want to be treated, how we're going to communicate, how we're going to treat our money, how we're going to treat this, so on and so forth. So that particular contract, you know, we didn't call it that. We didn't sign anything other than our marriage contract, marriage license. However, having that conversation early on and doing that, it helped us communicate. And so when certain situations came up, we remembered. And that's the reason for that. It helps you to remember, oh, okay, wait, hold on. Let me not say that or do this. I need to wait for a moment. We just had a start of a conversation. Let me back up and give it some time. So we started off early on. As far as building those communication skills, it helped a whole lot. So I didn't make a lot of missteps, especially, you know, sometimes I can be a little quick when it comes to not necessarily, well, I'll say unfiltered. I'll say unfiltered. Not thinking that I'm hurting somebody's feelings because of what I said, but it may have hurt their feelings. But at that was pretty big, coming up with our own social contract.
Learning how to talk to each other. So one of the things is that we take for granted, like, our upbringing. I keep thinking about our upbringing because that's who we come in a relationship with, right? So you come into that relationship thinking you can speak to that person like you spoke to your family, or they will respond to you like your family. And so, we have to decide, like, how are we going to talk to each other? How are we going to speak in front of our children? How are we going to show up outside of this? Outside of the home as well. So, and how we show up in our friends, friendship groups and all of that. So, that was
Correction behind closed doors.
Yes. So just how that happens. So when they ask about how we communicate, I think that's important to have those conversations up front at the beginning. Because I don't like anybody yelling at me. If you raise your voice at me, it just begins to, it triggers me. It's a trigger for me. And so knowing that, I can say that to him. But one of the things I do find funny with Mr. Scott is that I have to alert him when he says hurt your feelings, because I can go to him and just want to talk to him. I don't need for you to solve a problem. I don't need you to try to help me out. I just need you to listen. And so we had to learn that. And yes, well, we learned it together. I just came to talk to you. I don't need you to solve my problem. No solution needed. Just listen. That's all I need you to do. So,
Basically, right?
yeah. So,
Mathematics. I'm thinking you bring me a problem, I'm try to
You gotta solve it.
but he didn't have to solve the problem. Sometimes you just need to show the word, just look at it, So anyway, but that's one of the things that helped us at the beginning in communicating with each other. So that's a great audience question. So thanks.
No, this is a very good question.
Well, once again, I just want to mention, October 17th through the 19th. In the past, we've had but even though he is a pastor, but I want to say thank you to Todd Hammond and Ty Maynard being speakers. This year, looks like they're going to be speakers again. We'll see. Also, just all the speakers we've had, and once again to the Jennings, the speaking that they've done, and just appreciate them being on the stage with us.
And I have to say that again because y'all know that if you've been around Mr. Scott, some of y'all might be new to this audience. He said it, but I gotta say it with excitement. Walter Jennings, Wally B, and Charmaine Jennings, the chosen life specialist. They're gonna be at the conference. And when I tell you, if you came to the conference and you were in this Facebook, just give fire because you know that they were amazing. So they're joining us, and then they also going to have a boot camp the weekend after. Get your shifts together. And when I tell y'all this is going to be fire, listen, let me say how fire this is. You actually have to book an appointment with them to attend. So this is going to be very special. It's the arts of the relationships in your mind. Chosen life specialist. Please see our Facebook page. Please visit the YouTube channel so that you can see more of them as well. They are amazing.
Yes, I concur. Like, check. All the likes, all the fire, everything. Amazing. And so I have to do another shout out for another great weekend. That's going to be November the 7th through the 9th. November the 7th through the 9th. I have to shout out Angel Richards Clutter-Free Weekend. When I tell you this is a weekend for ladies, and listen, last year I brought my man with me. It's a ladies weekend, but I brought
I had a good time.
There had some other men there as well.
A few of us, we bonded.
So look, the
Made
ladies.
some surprises.
Look, the ladies, we get together, we let the men go off. But that weekend, it really is what the title is. It's a clutter-free weekend. It helps you clear your mind, clear your heart. Women connect with each other. One of the things I always tell Angel Richards about this weekend is that people say that we don't get along and we don't connect, like we're always in competition. That weekend, you can spend time with a group of women, and you're going to leave there moved, inspired, and ready to take on the world. I love that weekend. So I have to shout out Clutter Free Weekend because they also endorse our weekend, and I just loved all of our sponsors. I love the team. I just love my ships.
Community.
I loved it. So can I ask the Scots a question about, and I don't know that it's in our cars or on our script, so you know it's about to be unfiltered. I'm just saying. But can y'all talk about the venue? Look, this venue is sexy, it's amazing, it's all the things, but can y'all talk about the venue?
Yes.
Tell the people.
So listen, I need everybody right now, if you're on your phone, whatever you're doing, just Google the Current Hotel in Tampa Bay. It's a Marriott property.
Boutique experience.
Every room at this hotel, you can see a sunrise, sunset. For the most part, it's 1 or 2 rooms, may not have it, but you can see the Tampa Bay area. You can see the water, and it's on the water. So it's a beautiful boutique hotel. The art that's in it, it is amazing. We are so excited that we are able to have the conference at the Current Hotel.
Yes.
So
Thank you all for having the conference at the Current Hotel because the pullers are excited to go. That venue, like you said, it's amazing. Like all the views, the service, just everything. It's a beautiful. So I just wanted y'all to talk about that for a little bit.
Rooftop bar they have.
Oh gosh, thank you, Mr. B. Tell people about it. The rooftop, the restaurant.
It's an eye opener right there. You know, that's where you get a chance to see the whole Bay Area at its finest. I mean, it's a
nightlife.
Once again, like Dr. Scott said, if you have opportunity, go into your phones right now, pull up the Current Hotel, and I guarantee you'll be actually amazed by the scenery.
And we got a special rate worked out for everybody who's coming to the conference. So when you go to the website, Mr. Scott talked about it earlier, www.getyourshipstogether.org. You can see that special rate. So lock in your rate for the conference as well. But I want to get to a question that I need to ask the Pullens, because they, as you can hear in this conversation, they support us a lot, and they do a lot in the community. And so as we think about these personal relationships and having the professional relationships as well, remember at this conference, it's the ultimate relationship conference. It'll touch on all parts of your life. And as Faith and Eric said before, along with Stan, it'll hit your faith, it will hit your family, it will hit your friendship, it will hit your finances and your fitness. And so I do want to ask the Pullens, with all that you're doing in life, and there's only 24 hours in a day and we have to sleep, right? How do you manage to have this relationship but do everything that you're doing in the community as well, plus keeping your careers and plus being entrepreneurs as well? How do you manage that and then keep a healthy relationship?
Calendar work. You know, I'm sorry, but you know, so being be very transparent once again, I never was a person that had things on the schedule and the calendar. So I feel, you know, being married to Faith, she's a very, you know, driven woman, I would say, and she likes to plan. So what happens is that I got into.
It's like it's hurting you to say it.
We have calendars. It's okay.
So
Let the men know.
Nothing wrong with a calendar.
Fellas, if you want your relationship to thrive, get on the calendar. But no, all serious. So all jokes aside, but honestly, getting on the calendar and then working things accordingly, and just taking that time out, you know, to reflect. Like, you know, for me sometimes, well, in the past, I used to call Faith and everything, and coming home from work, and we have conversations, and for me that would set the tone. So when I get home, you know, for me it's like cracking eggs. You know, everything is open, so everything runs smoothly. So that for me was one of the things that helped me be able to be more open to what she needed and what
So that question is an interesting one. I'm gonna tell the truth. The people know. So as Stan says, I like the way you said that I'm a very driven woman. Some might say very busy. I have a
Fully
passion.
engaged.
Yes, fully engaged. Fully engaged. I like that. Fully engaged. A passion for service in the community in multiple areas, and I do enjoy it. And I do work, as you said, and I like to tell people I'm somebody's wife, and I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's friend, I'm somebody's sister, all the things. So for me, yes, the calendar is key. I do have to keep the calendar, and then I'm learning even more in this season to prioritize things. And sometimes I can't show up for every single thing.
But you tried.
I do try. I do try, and it's not like Stan has his own commitments. Like we sit on boards, different things like that. I will say it's helpful because you've never been resistant to participating in the thing. Like the calendar, you don't like the calendar. You never been resistant. Like you always stand by my side.
Once again, like I said, get on the calendar, fellas.
But I do also, I try to respect my husband's need for time with me, like just the two of us, to do whatever it is that we're gonna do. Like not every Friday, but a lot of Fridays we'll try and like go on a date or just go out to eat, different things like that. I also try and recognize when he says that he wants to do something or he has to do something. Because I do like for my man to be with me when I go to these different events and stuff. But sometimes he can't show up because there's things that he wants to do. So I have to be very sensitive and very mindful of that. And be like, you know what, yeah. And if he wants to go hang out with his friends, sometimes I'm not the type of person that's like, no, I don't care. No, but I have to be mindful of it because I will pack the schedule. We're not even going to talk about this past subject because, listen, we were all over the place. So I do it. But it's rewarding at the same time, but trying to find balance when I can is what I do.
and giving each other this, we give ourselves the space that we need, because, Faith is, once again, she's very driven. I am a part of some boards, but it's not as many, because I like my time to be free, to do what I want to do and everything. But, Faith, on the other hand, she always engaged in doing something. And there's nothing wrong with that because that makes her feel good because she feels she's giving back to the community that she loves. She's from here and she see her work that she's giving back to the community because of how things are given to you. You're from the community when you was a kid. So, I understand that. So give her space. That's what I do. And then at the same time, she allowed me to have my space as well.
Well, listen, I am so happy that we had an opportunity to hit record. Y'all keep hearing us say that it's because there's something in your life that's something that you really have been wanting to do, but it makes you feel a little uncomfortable or you feel like everybody else is doing it. You don't have the space for it. Why do it? And you just get comfortable in the space that you're in. I am going to say, I'm going to challenge everybody this week. This is Friday. So in the upcoming week, we're going to the 4th of July weekend, and this is for you all here as well. Let's do something that makes us uncomfortable, that steps out of our comfort zone. We're going to hit record. We're going to push forward with the next step. And so I'm excited that next week that I will be speaking to some young ladies, some sister friends, and we're going to have some sister conversations around relationship talk as well. That's going to be unfiltered, just how we define it tonight. So I'm very excited. But I do want to go around the table so everybody can just say what their takeaway from this evening, or give them a nugget, because this is an investment. Get Your Ships Together is an investment in you. It is a space that you can grow. So we hope and we pray to see everybody online at Get Your Ships Together, October 17th through the 19th, 2025. And where is it going to be?
The Current Hotel.
So everybody give shout out to the people, what you want to say. I'm sorry, Mrs. Scott. I do have to shout out JC Naturals. I have to shout out JC Naturals. Listen, I look like this tonight because of JC Naturals. I love you, Jackie. Thank you for being a sponsor. Thank you, Damon, for being a sponsor. Y'all can see we love our sponsors. We love our sponsors, our business partners, and we want y'all to show up to support them.
I'm not going to do shout out, I'm going to forget somebody, but I do want to say thank you to Miss Rebecca. She's been the one filtering and giving us so thank you, Miss Rebecca, for the questions, and thank you to the audience for giving us the questions. One thing I do want to close with as far as the round table is that relationships, it's like a muscle. It's not overnight. What we're talking about here, being married for the years that we've been married, this wasn't created overnight. It wasn't created over 2 years. You can't give up. That's the thing. Whether it's our friendships, the friendships that we've had from college or from the military or from our neighborhood, we can't give up on those friendships. We can't give up on family. We can't give up on our marriages or whatever the relationship is. We can't give up on them. So we just have to continue to try, communicate, find another way. It's important to be in a relationship because evil wants to separate us. And relationship is stopping out evil, and that's what we need. So just continue to push, continue to ride with us, and we'll continue to ride with you all.
I would just say, get your tickets. If I had an unlimited amount of money, and not because I love them, but because it's so valuable, I honestly would pay for so many people to come. I'm serious, y'all. People just ask me. I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for your weekend. I wish I was a millionaire for that, but that's how much I know that it is life-changing. And no matter what ship, faith, family, friends, finances, fitness, no matter what it is that you want to work on, you're going to get something there. The speakers are absolutely dynamic. Y'all, this vision is amazing, and just you have to be there. It will bless your soul, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It'll bless your soul. So get your tickets. Come be with us in October. What's the dates again?
October the 17th through the 19th.
Where is this then?
The Current Hotel.
All right, that's all I gotta say.
So with that being said,
Yes.
family, let's get your shifts together. I see you October 17th through October 19th, 2025 at the Current Hotel. Buy your tickets.
Woo!
Thank you for being here.
See you next week.